You're good.
All right, sweet. First off, man, I don't even know where to start. First and foremost, we'd like to thank the Wills ownership group, Quasi, the GM, the head coach, Kevin O'Connell. Man, so many people to thank. Super excited to be here. God, what a coach you guys have here, and I'm just really looking forward to inserting myself in and helping this organization and team win. Um, yeah, great culture, great team, great coaching staff, and I'm just so excited to be able to get up there and get started and get to work.
Hey, Jonathan, welcome. I'm just curious. It seems like the process came together pretty quickly for you joining the Vikings. Just what was that like for you, the kind of whirlwind, and what made the Vikings such an attractive location for you?
Yeah, so once I was told by the Commanders that I wasn't going to be re-signed, me and my agent put together a list of 5 things that were important to a city. How great everything was for the wives, for the players' families, obviously salary cap, team success, scheme, coaches, and honestly, culture. I think to have a good team and compete in the next level, you got to have a good culture. And at the very top of that list was the Minnesota Vikings. So once I found out that there was a mutual interest there, I mean, I told my agent Blake that, I mean, unless something unforeseen happens, I mean, let's go all in, let's go for it. And you know, I always like to say, if you have two people who are level-headed and want to accomplish the same thing, you'll get a deal done. So, yeah, we were able to get something done relatively fast and get this whole process over with so we can get started on the next chapter.
Jonathan, congrats on being here, man. How much crossover at Alabama did you have with Ryan Kelly? And just, I don't know if you've gone against him, but what is your feeling about him being here now with you?
Yeah, no, I think I went against him for 2 years in college. 2 or 3 years, I think two. He was a little bit older than me, so obviously I had to learn the ropes when I first got to him. Man, I mean, when you talk about, obviously we know what he can do on the field, but off the field, him and his wife are just great human beings and great people. And when you have a guy like that for a quarterback to be under center with, it just makes everything so much better. So I love him.
Yeah, John, I was just curious about the injury you suffered last year. By the time you got to the playoffs, were you pretty much where you normally are, or were you still kind of less than 100% at that point, and where are you at now?
Yeah, no, when they went in for the surgery, it wasn't as bad as anybody anticipated or as bad as the MRI shown. And I would say about 10 to 12 weeks, I was already benching 85% of my max before. So once the playoffs came around, I was pretty much healthy. I mean, the only thing that I had to really try to get back in was football playing shape. I mean, no matter how much you're doing the Stairmaster or running on the underwater treadmill or the treadmill, there's no way to simulate playing football. So from a health standpoint, my pec was completely fine. It's a non-issue.
Yeah, Jonathan, I was curious what you and maybe the number one trait that you think you and Javon have that allow you to impact the quarterback from the defensive tackle position, and also how does that translate into a Flores defense?
Yeah, I think in today's football, when you can have defensive tackles who can play the run on first and second down, and then on third down, stay on the field and get after the quarterback. And, I know we all like to look at sacks, but if you can provide interior pressure with guys like Andrew Van Ginkel and JG on the outside, it just makes everybody's life easier. We're getting the quarterback off his spot. We're forcing throws high, force him to miss his target. So I think when you can add that element of interior pressure from the inside, I think that just helps the defense out tremendously.
Jonathan, you're part of a really big commitment by the Vikings for the interior D line, the interior O line also addressed. What kind of ownership do you think you veterans coming in will really have on adding to what was a successful team and building on that from those areas?
Yeah, no, whenever an organization brings you in and pays us the way they have, I mean, there's definitely a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but I put a lot of responsibility on myself to prove them right in a sense. I mean, they don't give contracts out like this easily. So I think for me, my job is to go in there from day one, prove my worth to the fans and to the coaches for believing in me and just go out there. And one thing I can always say is you're going to get everything I got, good, bad, or indifferent. So I'm looking forward to being able to go out there and just help this team continue to be the successful, dominant defense it's been.
Jonathan, I'm curious about how different schematically you think it might be. Maybe, you haven't had time to dive fully in to that, but just going from working with Dan now to Brian Flores, you know how creative Flores can be. Like, what have you seen schematically, and where do you feel like you fit in?
Yeah, no, when you look at a guy like Coach Flores, man, they refer to him as a mad scientist. I mean, some games will be in a 3-4, bringing pressure off both ends, and some games we're switching it up. So, every week being in that playbook is a big key. But I really like how he's able to create space on the inside and allow, guys to get one-on-ones. And when you get a one-on-one in this NFL, you got to be able to win those. So I'm looking forward to just fitting right in and, doing what I can to help out.
Jonathan, kind of a two-part question. First of all, I know it's B-Flow, but when you look at the other guys, the names on defense, you mentioned Van Ginkel, there's Harrison Smith coming back. When you look all across defense, did it make you salivate like, I want to play with these names? And number two, people throw around the word culture. What is the most specific thing about a culture that you look for as a player to come here?
Yeah, no, when you have the defense that's been successful as they have in these last couple of years, it's definitely enticing to want to come in there because I feel like I can help out and I feel like I can help out in general. So, it was definitely exciting to have the opportunity to pair with some of these guys and with this coaching staff. And, as far as culture, it's not something that you can tangibly touch, but you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like when something bad happens during the game, you look at the sideline for guys' reaction. And I think it becomes pretty evident of a good culture and a bad culture and how different players and different people react during certain situations in the game. And I'm a firm believer of it's really hard to win games in this football league. If you look at it, it can probably come down to 5 plays a game. And I think culture has a huge part of when those certain plays don't go your way, how do you respond? Because it's easy to turn one bad play into 2 or 3 bad plays, and that could be the difference in the game. So also, the NFL is tough and it's hard, and nobody wants to come to work every day in an environment that is just not upbeat or no one's excited to do the job. So, that was one of the biggest reasons why I chose this place. I know Coach O'Connell from my time in Washington, and I think his reputation speaks for itself. And when I look at what he's built here, it's something that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, Jonathan, what were your impressions of Kevin in Washington? I know it was a little while ago, and he was on the other side of the ball. But what what did you learn about him during that time?
Man, when you look at a guy like Coach O'Connell, I think he's just the prototypical head coach that the NFL looks for nowadays. A young, offensive-minded head coach, brilliant ideas, refreshing, reinvigorating, not doing just things just because that's the way they've been done in the past, but really bringing in his new ideas and new elements. And I love the guy. I didn't spend too much time with him when I was in Washington. I was a rookie. I was just trying to keep my head on straight. He was on offense, I was on defense. But from the times I've interacted with him and talked to him, I thought he was an awesome guy. And then, for him going from there to the Rams with Coach McVay and just knowing how that whole tree is, I just know a lot about the guy more than on the field, especially off the field.
Hey, Jonathan, Javon mentioned it, but the Vikings kind of have a reputation, their organization around the league with the NFLPA report cards and things like that. I'm wondering what you knew about the Vikings organization, how much that kind of thing matters to players.
Yeah, so my agent and my financial advisor are both based out of Minneapolis. So I'm usually up here 2 to 3 times a year. And, going into this off season, I definitely wanted to take my family into consideration. I'll probably say it was between 20 and 50% of my decision. And when you look at year in and year out how they're graded, when your wife and your family is able to have a great life and be included and be involved in so many things with the community, it definitely makes that decision a lot easier. So I definitely say it played a part for sure.
Yeah, Jonathan, Javon did mention that you guys met at the Pro Bowl. I was curious what your thoughts are on his game and how that complements you guys in a Brian Flores defense.
Yeah, it's funny. When he was on Philadelphia, I've always looked at him as not my rival, but my competitor. I think every guy in this league is competing with the top guys in their position. So for us to be able to line up and play with each other, I'm super excited about it. Obviously, what he can do. He can rush the passer from the inside. He can take on double teams. He can play the run. And I'm looking to help boost his game and vice versa. And I really think that we can go out there and do great things. But again, it's early. It's March. No games are won in March. So right now we're just trying to put the work in, trying to get as acclimated as we can as soon as possible. That way when OTA start, we can, hit the ground running. But, man, we're really excited to be here.
Would you say that Flores defense turns you guys loose inside more, or I mean, you guys both have a reputation getting to the quarterback, getting sacks. Is this going to enhance that, or is it different enough to do that?
I definitely think it will. I think it's multiple factors. I mean, Coach Flores is one of the best in the game. I mean, when you play guys beside guys like Van Ginkel and JG, I mean, it just makes your job that much easier. So it's definitely going to be exciting. Don't want to promise too much because we still got a lot of work to put in, but just excited to be here and get started.
Hi, Jonathan. Welcome to Minnesota, to the Vikings. I'm just curious. I know that you've shared before kind of along your journey about your relationship with your dad and his impact on you. I'm curious, like, how much his influence has played into just your outlook on the game, whether it's the culture, how you approach the game, etc.
Yeah, no. Thank you for having me. I would say my dad affects me in more ways than I could probably really, count. Like through the good and through the bad. Through the good, he keeps me level-headed, and through the bad, he never lets me sink too low and just mentally helps me stay on a straight and narrow. I mean, God, man, I talk to him after every game, after every practice, so he's definitely aware of what's going on day to day for me, and he's just there to help encourage me and continue to push me. And honestly, between him, my wife, and my older brother, they're one of the three major reasons of why I am who I am right now.
Jonathan, those visits you made up here, they were in the summer, probably, right? Not necessarily the winter.
So it's funny. Actually, I came when the Super Bowl was there, and it
Oh,
was like
okay.
-14. So I've come up twice in the summer and once in the winter, usually every year. So I know the winters could be pretty brutal, but I mean, my wife's from Champaign, Illinois. I spent some time in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, so it might not be as cold as here, but I think I'll be able to manage the weather.
Okay, one more. The experience from last year for you guys going deep in the playoffs. I mean, just what did that mean to you after a lot of years of grinding?
It meant a lot. It meant a lot. I mean, it was in a weird way. I was so excited for the fans to be able to be excited about something and root for something positive and not always be the butt of the joke in the NFL. And it was just such an incredible experience. Obviously we weren't happy with the way it ended, but man, I wouldn't trade last year in for anything. And I'm looking forward to this upcoming season.
Any other questions for Jonathan? All right. Appreciate your time. For the media crew, we